I'm really happy to have my friends along with me on this panel. The first one is Narayan, who heads marketing at PayPal. I have known Narayan for over 10 years. He has experience across fintech and some of the world's leading brands such as Stancy, HSBC, where he's had very, very successful stints. He's passionate about marketing and brands and all things that keep customers engaged. And he has led several award-winning initiatives that have won accolades across the industry forums. I also know that in his free time, he loves binge watching a series of cricket or reading biographies, besides spending time with his family. I also have amongst us today Vaibhav, a client of ours at iProspect and also a dear friend who leads e-com and digital marketing at Max Life Insurance. He again has had a very successful career and very recently was selected across India in the Super 30 CMO honor roll by IMAI and also amongst the 100 smartest digital marketing leaders in the World Marketing Congress. I also know he's a avid follower of football across the world. But what is interesting is that he also pursues his passion through coaching kids under 13, so that's really interesting about him. Besides that, he also likes to have a view on world politics. And I think has watched he was telling me one time, more than 200 historical and political documentaries. That's a whole lot. I'm also glad to have amongst us Prashant, who's a seasoned professional with extensive experience across digital and media. And currently, he's as co-founder and CRO at Talk AI. He's responsible for revenue, business growth, and expansion. He's had a successful career of 20 years with rich experience with companies such as Nielsen, Microsoft, Naukri, Times Group, and BServe. And I know he is really passionate about sales and consumer intent and has been an advocate of harnessing the power of user data. I'm glad to be here with such a powerful panel today to discuss native advertising. And to just set the context a little bit, I think native advertising's ability to blend in end users' content experience has made it extremely popular with brands. And there's no doubt that native will continue its growth trajectory. But the question is, where will it go next is something that we really all need to think about. Millennials will become the largest generational group this year. We all know that. So it's important to understand how they view and access information. And there are enough reports that, say that half of them use ad blockers. And they're simply fed up with traditional ad experiences. These blockers they block banners, pop-ups, and they ignore them. They ignore the ads which slip through even these pop-ups, these blockers. And to do business with such a generation of skepticals of traditional display, native seems to be the antidote. And as mobile devices dominate digital consumption, mobile native, to me, I think is going to be the smartest investment. While mobile is a great opportunity, I think it is also raising the bar for content quality. Mobile users are on small screens and under nature that the experience means they'll quickly abandon any branded content that's either irrelevant or not interesting. And I believe XR, which is extended reality and cross-device experiences, can help marketers deliver against these demands. XR is an exciting field for digital advertisers that native advertisers can't ignore, definitely. XR experiences include VR, AR, 3D formats, 360-degree videos, and more. And I was also looking up Chevrolet, Peugeot, and Home Depot, and among several other brands, have been using XR very successfully in native formats. And I think interactive and XR ads stand out from other native content, and they can increase e-commerce sales dramatically as well. And this is going to be the future of mobile native. And with 5G coming in soon, I think it will bring a quantum leap in wireless technology, and along with it, an era of radically new possibilities across all areas of tech and digital advertising. The other problem that native always had was a scale problem. That it but that again, I believe, has changed today as technology is powering it have improved. So previously, native programs needed to be built custom for specific channels, platforms, and distribution points to ensure that they were truly native and personalized user experiences. But now, native technology partners are capable of programmatically scaling ad experiences across mobile, web, apps, email, social media, as well as different operating systems and screen sizes without sacrificing the like-for-like content experience. And thankfully for advertisers, native mobile shift has opened a door to a range of new performance capabilities that were previously unavailable. So one example is click-through purchasing directly with campaigns, or native ads that can integrate with loyalty programs of cards, etc. Desktop-based native display ads simply couldn't have some of these features and functionalities. On mobile, these capabilities boost performance for brands and help them track ROI as spending surges. And in many cases, native advertising, drives higher purchase intent than traditional display ads. And in the US, we're already seeing brands like Walmart and Macy, which have seen native campaigns meaningfully support their e-commerce revenue. Now, that is quite different from just a few years ago, where native was primarily desktop-based and seen more as a branding format. Uh, but I think mobile is supercharging native and making it more attractive for everyone, brands and consumers alike. Now, given this background, and in spite of all this, I still think India has been slow on the uptake of native ads, and that is what I'm going to try and talk to my panel today and understand the reasons for that from them. And with that, I want to start off with Narayan, asking you that with more and more people consuming content on the mobile, and with, as I was saying earlier, with built-in ad blockers, do you feel a lot of brands will move towards native video or content?
Firstly, good afternoon, Rubina, and thanks for having me on the panel, and very good afternoon to my fellow panelists and everybody else who's viewing this. I hope I'm audible. Sorry about that. So you're bang on when you say that native is probably going to be the future of a lot of digital advertising, right? And in a lot of ways, like the points that you mentioned a while back, India has actually skipped an entire generation of how they go about doing content, right? It's like how mobile phones killed the whole pager thing. I think digital is advancing in a lot of ways that we move from a desktop to more of a mobile first kind of a country. And that's very unique, right? India and China probably lead that revolution, right? It's the case with payments also. Now, the innate advantage that a native format offers is that it's not intrusive, right? And it can't be blocked by blockers, right? The thing about display is it's I don't want to write down display, but everything has its own purpose in the entire funnel, as many brands would know, right? So that there is a purpose to content, there's a purpose to native, and there's also a purpose to why people do display. But having said that, I would think that the future of digital will move more towards native, for the simple reason that it's not pushy. It delivers you relevant content at the point of time that you're looking for something. It's almost like, in the e-commerce journey earlier on, when a lot of companies came in, they said you might also be interested in bundling things together. This is bundling things together without actually being intrusive in your life. So it has all the positive effects of what content could be. And it actually depends on how brands want to use it. You can't actually repurpose a television commercial into a native, because that's not the right thing to do. Of course, every medium has its own pluses and minuses, but native, I think, is here to stay and here to stay for good. That's my
Thanks, Narayan. And furthering that conversation, Vaibhav, I want to go to you and ask you that while native has been used for recall, and there are many case studies which are available that native increases your recall by, let's say, 2 times over than other traditional ads. But the perception is, at least in India, or the clients that I've had an opportunity to work with and partner with, that it doesn't deliver on performance. So what do you think brands could do better to kind of leverage on the performance side of it?
Hi, Rubina. Hi, fellow panelists. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. It's quite a pleasure to be interacting with folks like you. So Rubina, I think on native advertising, I think one we need to bifurcate native by intent. I think search, for example, is native by intent, and I quite kind of agree why we don't classify it as native, but I think it's as native as it gets, right? And even the discovery, I think the discovery platform is actually as native as it gets. So I'm not sure that, you know, if you were to honestly look at classifying native at an intent level, I think there is a reasonable amount of ad spend that happened there in India. But I know the specific native advertisement that we are referring to here, and I think see, for every advertiser there are two kind of prospects, right? Two intents at a prospecting stage. One is to nudge a prospect into consciousness for the category, and then the other set is a conscious prospect to place your brand preferably in front of his or her eyes, right? Now I think native works very well on the first part, where you have to nudge the prospect into consciousness without interrupting his usual flow of content consumption or any kind of, you know, digital consumption. Now I think what has, I won't say gone wrong, but it is work in progress, or was work in progress till about last 2 to 3 years. I've realized is that, you know, this whole perception of advertisers, you know, including us actually, that, you know, native pretty much means low quality traffic, right? It's like low CPL kind of low converting cohorts that you usually get in native, and that's what the, you know, the your GA dashboard will probably show to you. But I think that's a mistake that has to be avoided, because actually what happened was, I think at least I can tell you on a personal experience for Max Live. I think some of us advertisers, you know, tried to be too smart and, you know, tried to buy native directly from individual publishers, and, you know, which is not a smart idea. I've realized that we've done it firsthand. So it's not a smart idea. I think not being aware or fully onboarded with the capabilities of the native networks that are available right now, I think that's a common mistake, which, you know, leads to this demand supply mismatch on the native platform. So I think a large part of these problems, I think, are being solved now, you know, and actually have been solved or are in progress of being solved by, you know, some of these DSPs, right? And they've aggregated inventories to be available programmatically and provide advertisers with similar targeting and optimization capabilities, you know, just like a regular display network or a Facebook campaign would provide. So I think that's the big game changer. I mean, I know it's been in progress. Some have tried, failed, but I think then again, the critical metric that we realized, you know, that is must track for a category like life insurance is really the new users, the new interested users that we can attract through a native platform is actually much higher. So maybe we haven't, and I think the constraint that I feel, you know, sometimes that native offers is on remarketing side, because, you know, which is a very important point for any digital advertiser, and that remarketing, which actually creates the COA for any advertiser or a business, you know, there you get constrained on a native platform because of the reach. But I think from a nudging into consciousness, I think it's great work in progress. I think all advertisers, including us at least, have made some mistakes in the past, and I think we are on course correction on that. Because as you said, the new millennial is on mobile, he's consuming content and definitely does not want to be disturbed. That's for sure. So I think that's work in progress. I think the smart advertisers would quickly move to some of these platforms which allow you for optimization and sharper targeting for the kind of prospect you want. So once that is available and that is in place, I think there is no stopping native. I'm pretty sure.
Sure. Thanks for sharing that, Vaibhav. That's really nice of you to share your learnings, you know, that you've had with your brand. And Prashant, I want to ask you a follow-up question about what Vaibhav was saying, is that, you know, they tried to use some platforms by themselves, and they you know, marketers should avoid that mistake. So what, in your view, are the platforms, formats that, you know, will bring the biggest growth?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Quickly jumping into it, as Vaibhav rightly said, that they did try, and native did evolve with a lot of mistakes done by both the marketers as well as the publishers. Right now, there's a lot of platforms that are available there, including aggregators and direct publishers. But if you take a step back, every marketer has been doing native all along. If you're doing search, if you're doing social, you basically are doing native ad formats. Entire Facebook, Twitter formats are all native. It's just that the users are so engaged in that experience, they don't realize, and marketers also don't treat them as an ad format. At the end, Facebook and Twitter are publishers. If you're rating them, rate them on the same scale you will do any other website. But rightly said, in terms of growth, native's growth has come a lot where marketers and publishers both have realized that it blends seamlessly into the experience. Unless until you're not shouting to the user, you are doing a fair job, and users also like and engage with these formats. Especially transactional advertisers have seen great momentum there, where you are, rightly mentioned by Weber, where you are doing a remarketing campaign. You're reaching out to the user who had quit your cart at some point of time, nudging that user. Those formats are really doing, those campaign objectives are doing really well. In terms of formats, more and more screens are getting bigger and bigger. So if you would have looked at Twitter recently did their fleet, it would be very soon where they'll bring an ad format onto fleet. Flipboard was the first one which did with full screen formats. And now you have everybody following those formats. If you're using any app today on your mobile, you will end up seeing a full screen ad coming in. The only part is, are you making an ad or are you making an experience? If you see in India also, a lot of news aggregating apps are doing that formats really well. Adding on to, just wanted to clarify one more point where a lot of marketers are reaching out to native publishers directly. No harm doing in that. The whole bus which is being missed out is data. Are you using your data or the publisher's data? Because any native campaign done without an overlay of data would be useless, because you are not then understanding the user well. While you're understanding the content and the format, you need to bring the user into the picture. It's very important, because at the end of the day, you want the user to act on that creative of yours or on your campaign. So you need to have the data overlay very importantly. And the whole beauty of bringing in data is, today marketers can actually use their own CRM data. There's nothing stopping them. If they deployed the right kind of technology into it, they are also able to host data with publishers and use publishers' own data. Today, publishers with native formats are able to engage users beyond a certain time format. And that's where comes in something called as branded content. You're going much deeper into a user and a publisher's content to deliver a better experience and engage users. So you need to also value that fact that the user is also, at the end of the day, is going to act on it, but you need to respect the sanctity of the content and the format to kind of get the user to act. And your campaign is as good as your data. So you need to overlay it, and then the format is irrespective, the publisher is irrespective. If the data is right, you'll get the user to act.
Thanks, Prashant. I think that's interesting lens you brought in, of using the data and putting the customer in the center of it. I think that's really useful. But Narayan, I want to ask you another question that was going on in my mind as I was hearing him, is that on one side you have display ads, and then on the other side you have content marketing, right? That's the other end of the spectrum. So where does native fit in, and what is the best way to use it?
See, it's a very interesting way of looking at it. Right? The way I treat native in my mind is it's like a hybrid child of both content and display, right? So, the realistic answer is, you can treat it as an extension of either one of those depending on the view that you take, right? So, if you're looking at buildings, so the advantages, it brings in the advantages of both of these without actually carrying carrying the luggage of any of these, right? So if you look at content, you can deliver content through native, you can deliver excellent content through native video ads, right? Or even the text format for that matter. So as a display, also native can be used effectively without being intrusive. And that's the reason it makes really for a great case, right? The way I'd like to use native is in an ideal world, and it's not an ideal world, right? And as many brands know, and clients would be the first one to actually accept that, right? So we always set performance targets against each and every campaign that we do, and that might not be the right approach. But having said that, native brings with it certain innate advantages, like the fact that you're blending in seamlessly in feeds, right? So it doesn't look like it is a website that's showing up an ad for you. It looks like it's contextual, it's highly relevant, and it's almost like suggestions being thrown at your face. You can choose to actually scroll through, so it's not intrusive. Plus, most of the native platforms are also getting into DSPs, right? And that makes for a great case. You have data that you can build in, and like Prashant said. So in my mind, native is a clear winner. It's rather the brands that have to actually decide how they want to go about using native. So the platform, and again, the platforms that you choose in native you have to be clear that they're not clickbaity or, in that sense, looking to solve for something and get you a click at any cost. So if your content and the brand tonality matches with what is being put out there, I think it makes for a great campaign.
That brings me to my next question to you, Weber, which is that if, like Narayan says, it's a hybrid and the best of both, perhaps it's how you use it, then why is it that 60% of the inventory which is on native is still going empty, and why is it not being utilized, if it can be utilized on both sides of the spectrum? What's your view on that?
So I know. So I think I'll just pick up from the last question, and I'll share the interesting. What has actually how I got introduced to native advertising in theory really was about last year. We were debating with our agency iProspect on how do we go about doing this or not doing this, and iProspect, the girl in iProspect actually gave me a very interesting analogy. I think it's a popular analogy: native advertising versus content marketing. She said, Weber, look, the way to look at it is that native advertising is like going on a date which you got through Tinder. You have to make sure that the ambience is right. It's a demand supply match. The ambience is right and everything is in place, and then that's where the energy has to be spent. While content marketing is like being in a long-term relationship. So the way to look at it is going without getting into a date to go into a content, a long-term relationship usually doesn't work out that way. So she said that that's the way you could bifurcate, and then you should look at because content marketing requires a lot of engagement, a lot of belief, really, from the CFO, frankly speaking. The belief from the CFO and the management to say, we'll engage users on content and then have them onboarded with us. And native is somewhere before that, and then display is right up there. So again, Rubina, I think as I shared in the previous section, I think really, the way I honestly I try and simplify things in my head, and I think all performance marketing can be simplified into creative. Targeting and optimization, if I would say that. And I think on native, I think we haven't done complete justice on creative, right? I don't think we've done enough justice on it. I think the messages that I still see on on the native platform continues to be extremely, as we call it, selu. I don't think it's working that way. That's a common mistake that advertising agencies are jointly making. I think we are trying to course correct, honestly. I think what has been missing has been the optimization layer. That is now available, thank God. So that's great. I think in all fairness, we pass so many signals to the likes of Facebook and Google, in terms of the kind of user we want, his journey, his or her purchase intent, and we pass those signals back, right? How many of advertisers can actually say today that we pass the similar signals to native advertising platforms? So I think a large part is on the advertiser that we need to work out. I think what is really imperative and what has been holding a large part of native advertising back in my head is really even the supply side platforms, even they need to up their game big time. They have to. You have to realize, right? You are now competing with Google and Facebook, right? For the advertiser, it's the same amount of 100 rupees available, right? For those $100, if you want to come and compete with the likes of Google and Facebook or those kind of platforms, you have to bring in those sharpness on optimization and analytics. You have to have your data layers merge with my thinking and probably try and understand the category as well. I think there's a big gap there that I experience, when I talk to some of the DSPs. So I think the game has to be up from both the ends. But I have no doubt in my mind that, for example, if hypothetically, if DV360 reach was to become equal to GDN, who's to say people would actually move to DV360, I think, and stop doing GDN, right? I know it has got limited efficacy so far in Indian markets, but I believe the entire European market operates like that, right? So I think they have to improve their reach for sure, and they have to up their game on the way they look at data and the way they analyze and the kind of optimizing signals they can absorb, and then search for those lookalike prospects. I think if that is in place, I think there is no reason why any advertiser would hold back. And then I think the big conundrum, I think finding the right metric to track is very critical. I think we may all make mistakes jointly there a lot of times. Because see what happens is the advertising could be native, the intent could be native, and the landing page could be a classic lead page, like buy now, right? And then you keep questioning and debating, session to lead kam hai, kya kara jaye, ye business kaam nahi aa raha. So I'll tell you honestly, for example, we are in the midst of an experiment where we are all native advertising is actually going to our category page with all the FAQs and long form content, followed by a lead page. So actually our session to eligibility, which is just before the conversion cycle, the one step before conversion cycle, is actually higher when we do that versus when we take them to a lead page. So I think being true to or loyal to that platform, it is very important to have alignment across all points: creative, optimization, landing, and I think the metric to track. I think unless all those 4 things are aligned, you'll always end up competing with the likes of a display or a GTN, and native will look as I say, the poorer cousin there, I think.
Right. Thanks for being candid on this. And I think some very good points you made, Vaibhav, especially on what platforms need to do to be able to be big, and to be able to compete with the bigger ones, the bigger platforms, and win that share of the wallet from an advertiser. And Prashant, I want to ask you, and you're perhaps privy to that. And while I talk to native publishers, they say that the platforms say that they are now building on their own DSPs. They're trying to bid programmatically, and a lot of work is being done on that. How far do you think they are in the game, and what's your view on that? Once that gets fixed, do you think then finally there will be an uptick?
So the progress where a lot of native players are coming up with their own DSPs to move into the programmatic journey is a natural evolution. If you look back, display first came through ad servers, then came programmatic. That when they wanted scale. Today, native is going through that journey where native first started with publishers, which is purely ad servers. Then comes in the aggregators, and now the platforms who are bringing in their own DSPs to tap into the programmatic supply and demand because they are looking at scale. Today, as the scale is growing, and native is the single largest growing platform ad format at this point of time. I mean, more than 60% of the overall inventory that you have available is on native. And there are so many publishers who have actually done away with any other format and are purely going native because they've seen better performance and better user experiences. I mean, as rightly said by Vaibhav, how are you reacting to it? Are you kind of giving the right experience? Similarly, for campaigns also, it really matters whether you're jumping in there or you're actually giving that experience. Are what you're talking in your ad on native, are you also giving the same landing page experience? And whole reason where these platforms are moving towards programmatic is because they want to scale and they want to use a lot more data. Today, when you buy from other native platforms, largely like a Google, Facebook, you don't get so much of data insights, and you're not able to grow that scale with your own data because there's a end to it. How much of data Google or Facebook will share with you? So that's where these native platforms are trying to create their own DSPs because they know with the larger scale of data, they'll be able to find much more ROI without spending so much of ad dollars. I mean, I've seen even in Europe, or if you look at US. A lot of top publishers came together and created their own SSP, which is where index is, because they said that, okay, let us use and exchange our data. Today, publishers and marketing are freely wanting to exchange that data because they know they'll get more scale. So on programmatic, you know which your user you're going from. That's where you're able to build scale. Another challenge which I've seen, and I'm sure Vaibhav may agree there, is the fraud and bots. Today, when you are going into that space, you are running a campaign and optimizing that campaign where a computer is showing an ad to a computer or to a bot. Are you actually going to the end user? So how do you control that ROI? I mean, there are some places and a lot of supply. I've read some white papers that saying 80 to 90% of the users are bot. So that's a big challenge. So you need to overcome that. And you can only do that once you have your own DSP, because then you're getting data density. You're able to dig deeper into what are the RTB streams, where the user is coming from, and you're able to actually weed out the bots and get the actual users to perform. So that's the whole scene where one, scale, second, data, and to get a better ROI, that these platforms are moving towards their own DSPs and plugging into own supply.
Sure. No, I think it's a really valid point that you brought out, and thanks for bringing that up, Prashant. I just want to move towards, I'm conscious of time and I know we want to close this conversation, but before I let you off the hook, I'm going to put you through a rapid fire, each one of you, the famous Coffee with Karan style. So I'm going to ask each of you 3 questions, 1-word answers, no both, no none. You have to make choices. Okay, so those are the rules, and let's see how you fare on that. I don't have a coffee hamper to give, but I will owe one of you a coffee whenever we can meet next. Okay, I'll start with you, Narayan, then. Okay, native for traffic or content marketing?
Sorry, what was your question again? Native what?
advertising for traffic building or content marketing?
Content marketing.
Okay. Out of 100 rupees that you may have, how much would you spend on native, display, and content marketing? Between these three.
Can I explain myself, or do I just have to give you?
No. Defeats the point of the fun.
Okay, given the state of things, I would say display would be about 50%. Between content and native will be 25% each.
Okay, that's an honest answer, I can say. Okay, between the platforms, in order of preference, native platforms, Yahoo, Columbia, Outbrain.
Outbrain, Columbia, Yahoo.
Thank you. I think you did fairly well. So moving on to Weber. Weber, native for branding or performance?
Performance always.
Okay, I think that was straight and easy for you. Okay, and I think this one's also going to be easy for you. So native or GDN?
I would say GDN right now. I'm sad. GDN.
Okay, now this is the tricky one for you. Immediate campaign objectives or building audiences for the mid to long term?
Depending on the period. Right now, if you ask.
One choice.
So I think it's a latter. Frankly, it's a latter. I mean, we are a life insurance company, you see. We sell 40-year contracts. It's a latter, always latter for us.
Okay. In my next meeting with you, I will hold you to that.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay. Prashant, going for you now. Lead generation or user experience?
User experience.
Okay. Rate in order of preference, native, programmatic, display.
It will be programmatic, native, and display. Since Weber already equated native to Tinder, I think display is eve teasing and content is shadi. So I'll go in that order.
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy. That I'll keep it in mind now.
I love that answer. Okay. Okay. And the last one, native as a strategy or tactic?
Native is a strategy.
Thank you. I think all of you did very well. So one coffee each for all of you whenever we get to meet next. I think then we are on time and ready to sign off. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rubina. Thank you.